All right, let's dive in. We're going to help these two students, Kesser and Steen, with their school project.
Sounds fun.
They're working on this pretty big issue.
Oh, yeah.
The health of our oceans.
I see.
Specifically, they're looking into how excess nutrients in the water are impacting eelgrass.
Oh!
And what that means for the entire ecosystem.
Right. It's all about connections, really.
Yeah.
Kesser and Steen, they're discovering that something that seems like a small problem, like too many nutrients, it can set off like a chain reaction.
Oh, wow.
And it can have some pretty dire consequences.
Really?
Like fish struggling to survive in certain areas.
So let's start with the basics.
Okay.
What exactly is eelgrass and why is it so important a little bit?
Yeah.
Before doing this deep dive, I just thought it was some type of seaweed.
It's an easy mistake to make. Eelgrass, or bendeltang as it's called in Danish.
Bendeltang, okay.
It's actually a flowering plant.
Oh, okay.
It creates these incredible underwater meadows in shallow coastal waters. And these meadows are really vital for a healthy ocean.
I see.
Because they provide food and shelter for all kinds of marine life.
Like what?
Crabs, snails, fish, even birds rely on them.
Wow, so it's like an underwater city just teeming with life.
Exactly.
But Kesser and Steen, they found out that these meadows are shrinking.
Yeah.
What's causing that?
Well, one of the major culprits is this excess of nutrients we talked about earlier.
Right.
Think of it like over-fertilizing a garden.
Yeah.
When too many nutrients, things like nitrogen and phosphorus, end up in the water from things like agricultural runoff and wastewater, it causes these tiny algae called phytoplankton.
Right.
They grow out of control.
And I'm guessing that's not a good thing for eelgrass.
No, not at all. These phytoplankton blooms, they create like this cloudy soup in the water, and that blocks the sunlight that the eelgrass needs to survive. So less sunlight means less eelgrass, and that has a ripple effect on the entire ecosystem.
Yeah, makes sense.
Kesser and Steen spoke with a local fisherman who shared a pretty stark observation with them.
Oh, what was that?
He told them about how he used to see these vast, vibrant eelgrass meadows while he was fishing. But now they're struggling to find any healthy patches.
Really?
Yeah, it's a direct result of these human-caused changes to the water.
That's disheartening.
It is.
But how does all of this tie into the problem of fish not getting enough oxygen?
Right.
Is that connected to the eelgrass too?
Absolutely. Eelgrass plays a critical role in oxygenating the water.
Okay.
And when it dies off, the oxygen levels plummet.
Wow.
So it makes it really difficult for fish and other marine life to survive.
Right.
And to make matters worse.
Yeah.
This excess nutrients and the decline of eelgrass, it creates like the perfect conditions for something called fed-to-mode to flourish.
Fed-to-mode.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound good.
No, not really.
What is that?
It's a type of bacteria that forms these thick mats on the seabed. Imagine like a suffocating blanket covering everything.
Wow.
That's what fed-to-mode does.
I see.
It prevents oxygen from reaching the bottom, basically.
Okay.
Creates these dead zones where marine life can't survive.
So it's like a double whammy.
Yeah,
then
it is.
Less oxygen from the lack of eelgrass.
Yeah.
And then these bacterial mats making things even worse.
Exactly.
Wow.
And this is where the situation becomes really critical for species like mussels.
Oh, right.
They rely on that oxygen-rich environment.
Yeah.
Without it, they struggle to survive.
I see.
And that, in turn, impacts the fish that depend on mussels for food.
So it's like a domino effect.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
It can lead to entire areas of the ocean becoming barren wastelands.
That's a pretty grim picture.
It is.
But I have to ask,
yeah,
how is all of this connected to Kesser and Steen's school project on nature and innovation?
Right.
Where does the innovation part come in?
That's a great question. It's what Kesser and Steen are grappling with as they do their research, too.
Right.
They're realizing that understanding the problem, that's just the first step.
Yeah.
The real challenge is finding innovative solutions.
To like reverse the damage.
Yeah, to reverse the damage and restore balance to these really delicate ecosystems.
So it's not just about science. It's about finding creative ways to apply that science to make a real difference.
Exactly.
This is getting really interesting.
It is.
So tell me more about like what kind of solutions they're exploring.
Okay, so before we get into potential solutions, I think it's important to understand just how sensitive these ecosystems are to change.
Makes sense.
Kesser and Steen actually found some historical data that really highlights this.
Oh, okay. What did they find?
They came across this report that indicates that in the early 1900s, eelgrass was found at much greater depths than it is today.
Really?
Yeah.
How deep are we talking?
Sometimes as deep as 17 meters.
17 meters?
Yeah.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah, but today you're lucky to find it growing deeper than like 5 or 6 meters in most areas.
So that's a pretty drastic change then.
It really is.
Especially in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, it tells us just how much human activities have impacted these environments over, a relatively short period of time.
It's a clear sign that we need to do something.
We do.
And fast.
Yeah.
But where do we even begin? It feels like such a massive problem.
You're right. It is a big challenge.
Yeah.
But Kesser and Steen are starting to uncover some potential solutions that are giving them and me a glimmer of hope.
Oh, don't leave us hanging. Tell us more. What kind of solutions are they looking into?
One promising avenue involves harnessing nature's own ability to heal.
Okay.
And this is where the mussels come back into the picture.
Right.
It turns out mussels can play a crucial role in filtering out those excess nutrients that are causing so much trouble.
Really? How so?
Mussels are what we call filter feeders. They're constantly drawing in water and filtering out tiny particles of food.
Yeah.
In the process, they also remove excess nutrients from the water,
Okay.
which can help improve the water clarity
Right.
and create a more favorable environment for the eelgrass to grow.
So they're like the ocean's natural cleaning crew.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
And this is where the innovation aspect really starts to shine.
Okay.
Kesser and Steen learned about these mussel fishermen in a fjord that's been particularly hard hit by nutrient overload.
Oh, wow.
And they're experimenting with transplanting mussels to new areas
Interesting.
to see if they can help restore the balance.
That's such a clever idea.
It is.
So they're using nature's own solutions to heal the damage we've caused.
Yeah.
I love that. But what about the eelgrass itself?
Right.
Can anything be done to, restore those underwater meadows?
Yes, actually. There are ongoing efforts to transplant eelgrass to areas where it's been lost.
Okay.
It's a labor-intensive process. But Kesser and Steen spoke with some divers who are doing just that.
Oh, I bet that's fascinating.
It is.
Tell me more about what they're doing.
These divers are incredibly dedicated.
Yeah.
They carefully collect small shoots of eelgrass from these healthy areas.
Right.
And then they attach them to small biodegradable nails.
Wait, nails? Underwater.
I know it sounds strange, but these nails are specially designed to hold the eelgrass shoots in place until they can take root in the seabed.
Oh, okay.
It's like giving them a little helping hand to get established.
Makes sense, yeah. So it's like a mini gardening project, but underwater.
Exactly.
That's so cool. And Kesser and Steen, were they impressed by this?
They were particularly impressed by the fact that these divers aren't doing this alone.
Oh,
they're working closely with local fishermen who have, a deep understanding of the fjord and the importance of eelgrass.
That's fantastic. So it's like a real community effort.
It is.
To bring back this vital habitat. I'm curious, though, what did the fishermen have to say about the whole situation?
They did. One fisherman who'd been fishing in that fjord for years was especially passionate about this need to protect eelgrass.
I see.
He compared it to wild nature in the ocean.
Oh, wow.
And he really emphasized its role as a critical habitat for countless species.
Yeah.
And his perspective really resonated with Kesser and Steen.
Okay.
It made them realize that this is about more than just completing a school project,
Right.
It's about understanding our responsibility to protect these incredible ecosystems for generations to come.
That's a powerful message.
It is.
It sounds like this deep dive is taking Kesser and Steen on quite a journey of discovery.
It definitely is. And it highlights how innovation isn't always about, high-tech solutions or complicated scientific breakthroughs.
Right.
Sometimes the most innovative solutions come from working with nature, understanding its processes, and supporting the individuals who are already on the ground, making a difference.
So it's about combining scientific knowledge with practical action and community involvement.
Exactly.
Like a very holistic approach to problem solving.
It is. It really is.
And that's what makes Kesser and Steen's project so compelling.
Right.
It's like a microcosm of the larger challenge we face in protecting our planet.
Absolutely.
But before we dive deeper into what's being done, globally to restore eelgrass and address nutrient overload.
Right.
We need to take a quick break.
Okay.
But we'll be right back with more insights from Kesser and Steen's research on nature and innovation.
Sounds good.
Don't go anywhere.
All right. Welcome back to our deep dive with Kesser and Steen. It's incredible to see how much they've uncovered about the balance of our ocean ecosystems. Before the break, we were talking about how mussel transplantation can be a tool for improving water quality.
Right.
And creating an environment where eelgrass can recover.
Yeah, it's fascinating how something as simple as a mussel can play such a vital role.
It is, yeah.
But Kesser and Steen, they also stumbled upon a bit of a mystery while they were researching this.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what was that?
They came across this report about the cod population.
Okay.
In the Baltic Sea.
Right.
And it seems things aren't looking too good for these fish.
What's going on with the cod?
Well, scientists have been catching cod that are, like, incredibly thin.
Oh, wow.
Almost emaciated.
Really?
And when they examined the fish, their stomachs were practically empty.
Oh, no.
That's so sad. But how does this connect to the issues with the eelgrass and the mussels?
It's all about the food web.
Right.
Cod are predators.
Yeah.
And mussels are one of their primary food sources.
Okay.
So if the cod aren't finding enough mussels to eat, it could indicate a problem with the mussel population as well.
Ah, so it's like a chain reaction then.
It is.
One species declines and has this ripple effect throughout the entire ecosystem.
Exactly.
Wow, it's pretty amazing. So Kesser and Steen, they were really intrigued by this connection.
No, okay.
So they decided to head down to the harbor to talk to some divers who just returned from exploring the fjord.
Makes sense, yeah. Always good to talk to the experts.
Yeah, those two are really dedicated to getting to the bottom of this.
They are, yeah.
So what did the divers have to say?
Well, they were actually out there trying to locate some large patches of healthy eelgrass for a transplantation project.
Okay.
But they were having a really tough time finding any suitable areas.
Oh, why was that? What's happening to the eelgrass in the fjord?
The divers believe it's a combination of factors working against the eelgrass.
Like what?
Well, things like pollution, disease, and even the impacts of, a warming climate.
Oh, right, yeah.
They observed signs that fed to mudge, those pesky bacterial mats we talked about.
Yeah.
We're starting to smother the eelgrass, preventing it from thriving.
So it's not just the mussels and the cod facing challenges.
Right.
The eelgrass itself is under threat from multiple stressors.
Yeah.
Like a triple whammy.
It is. It really highlights the complexity of these ecosystems.
Yeah.
And this need to, address these issues from this holistic perspective.
Absolutely.
The divers were particularly concerned because, as they explained to Kesser and Steen, eelgrass is like the foundation of this underwater world.
So it's like the trees in a forest.
Exactly.
Providing shelter and nourishment for all the other species.
And without that foundation, the entire ecosystem starts to crumble.
It's pretty scary, really.
Okay, it is, yeah.
The divers were trying to transplant eelgrass.
Right.
But it sounds like a real uphill battle if it's facing so many challenges.
It is a labor-intensive process, but they're determined to make a difference.
I admire their dedication.
Me too.
So they collect those small shoots of eelgrass from healthier areas.
Yeah.
And they carefully attach them to those small biodegradable nails.
Right.
Hold the nails underwater. How does that even work?
It's quite ingenious, actually, these special nails.
Okay.
They're designed to hold the eelgrass shoots in place until they can take root in the seabed.
I see.
And then they eventually break down naturally, leaving no trace behind.
It's like giving the eelgrass a little boost.
It is.
To help it get established in its new home.
Exactly.
That's so cool. And remember that fisherman Kesser and Steen spoke with?
Yeah. The one who was so passionate about protecting eelgrass.
Yes, the one who compared it to wild nature in the ocean.
That's the one. Well, he was actually out there helping the divers with the eelgrass transplantation.
Oh, wow.
He's seen firsthand the decline of eelgrass in the fjord over the years, and he's really committed to doing his part to restore it.
That's inspiring.
It is.
It's a good reminder that we can all make a difference, even if our actions seem small.
Absolutely.
But let's get back to the innovation aspect of Kesser and Steen's project.
Okay.
While transplanting eelgrass and mussels, that can help address the symptoms.
Yeah.
But how do we get to the root of the problem?
That's the million-dollar question.
It is.
And that's where innovation really comes into play.
Okay.
We need to find creative solutions to reduce our impact on these ecosystems in the first place.
Right.
This might involve, developing new technologies for wastewater treatment or exploring innovative ways to manage agricultural runoff.
Okay.
Or even rethinking our own consumption patterns to reduce the demand for things like fertilizers and other pollutants.
So it's not just about science then.
No.
It's also about engineering, policy,
right.
And even changing our own behaviors.
Absolutely. It's a multifaceted challenge that requires a holistic approach.
Makes sense.
And Kesser and Steen are learning that protecting our oceans requires a collaborative effort.
Yeah.
It's not something that scientists, policymakers, or individuals can solve on their own, you know?
Right.
We need to work together, share knowledge, and come up with solutions that benefit both the environment and society.
That's a really important point. It's like Kesser and Steen's school project is this microcosm of the larger challenge that we face.
Exactly.
As a planet, really.
Right.
We need to learn to live in harmony with nature.
We do.
And that requires a fundamental shift in our thinking and our actions.
You've hit the nail on the head. And that's what makes their project so compelling.
I agree.
It's not just about, memorizing facts.
Right.
It's about fostering a deeper understanding of our connection to the natural world.
Yeah.
And inspiring a new generation of innovators who are passionate about protecting our planet.
Absolutely. And that's giving you hope for the future.
It really is. It really is.
That's wonderful to hear. It sounds like Kesser and Steen are well on their way to becoming these environmental champions.
They are. They really are. And their story is a good reminder that we all have a role to play in this.
Right.
In protecting our oceans.
It's a team effort.
It is. It really is.
Welcome back to the show. It's pretty amazing how much we can learn from Kesser and Steen and their exploration of this environmental issue. It is, yeah. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling really inspired by their dedication to their school project.
It's really a testament to their curiosity and their commitment to making a difference.
Absolutely.
Speaking of making a difference, they stumbled upon this fascinating historical fact about eelgrass.
Okay.
That really got me thinking.
Oh, I'm always up for a good history lesson, especially when it involves the ocean.
Right.
What'd they find?
While they were researching the historical distribution of eelgrass in Danish waters, they came across a report that mentioned that back in the early 1900s, eelgrass was so abundant that it was actually harvested for a variety of uses.
Harvested? What on earth did they use eelgrass for? I'm picturing like underwater farmers with scythes or something.
Well, it wasn't quite that dramatic.
Yeah.
But you might be surprised by how versatile eelgrass turned out to be.
Okay, like what?
It was used as packing material for fragile items.
Insulation for homes.
Wow.
Even as bedding for livestock.
I never would have imagined.
Yeah.
It's incredible to think that something that we're now struggling to restore was once so plentiful.
I know.
That it was harvested commercially.
It's a stark reminder of how much things have changed.
Right.
And how human actions have impacted these ecosystems.
Absolutely. Yeah, it really puts things into perspective.
It does.
But it also sparks a question in my mind.
What's that?
Could those historical uses of eelgrass hold any lessons for us today?
That's a good question.
With the growing concerns about climate change
and
the need for sustainable materials, it seems like there's this renewed interest in the potential of eelgrass as a resource.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it's not just about restoring eelgrass for the sake of the ecosystem, but also exploring its potential to benefit society in a sustainable way.
Exactly. Researchers are actually investigating its use.
Okay.
For all sorts of things. Like what?
Everything from biofuel production to creating biodegradable plastics.
Really?
Yeah, imagine using eelgrass to create packaging that won't end up polluting our oceans.
That would be amazing. It's like turning the problem on its head.
Yeah, it is.
Using a species that's threatened by pollution to actually help reduce pollution.
Exactly. It's a perfect example of how innovation can be inspired by nature.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And it's really exciting to see how these researchers are combining this scientific knowledge with this sense of environmental responsibility to develop solutions that, benefit both people and the planet.
This whole deep dive has really highlighted just how interconnected everything is.
It really is.
The health of our oceans, the well-being of coastal communities, the search for these sustainable solutions. It's all intertwined.
It really is. It really is.
It's really amazing. And, Kesser and Steen School Project has given us a glimpse into, the complexity of these issues.
You really have.
But also the hope that comes from seeing these young people engage with these challenges and find solutions.
It is, that's a beautiful note to end on.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
So to our listeners out there, we hope you've enjoyed this deep dive with Kesser and Steen.
It's been a journey.
It has. It's been a journey of discovery. It's highlighted the challenges facing our oceans, but also the incredible resilience of nature.
Absolutely.
And the power of human ingenuity to find solutions.
It's been a pleasure sharing this exploration with you, too.
I agree.
And remember, even small actions can make a big difference. So stay curious, stay informed, and let's all do our part to protect the incredible beauty and diversity of our oceans.
Absolutely.